Hello everyone. This video is in continuation with the previous video is matter around is pure, suspensions and colloidal solutions. If you haven't seen that video, please do check that as well, and if you like our videos then please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. In our previous video, we discussed what are suspensions and what are colloidal solutions and their various properties. Today we will start off by discussing common examples of colloids. Colloids are classified according to the state, solid, liquid or gas, of the dispersing medium and the dispersed phase. Yesterday we also discussed what is the dispersing medium and the dispersed phase. A few common examples are, down below given is a table which gives us a few examples of colloids. Dispersed phase liquid and dispersing medium gas, type aerosol, example fog, clouds, mist. Dispersed phase solid, dispersing medium gas, type aerosol, example smoke, automobile exhaust. Gas and liquid form foam, example can be seen in shaving foams. Liquid and liquids form emulsions, seen in milk, face creams. Solid and liquids form salts. Example is milk of magnesia, mud. Gas and solid form foam. Examples rubber, sponge, foam. Liquid and solids form gel. Example jelly, cheese, butter. And we have solid and solid forming solid soul, of which examples are colored gemstones and milky glass. This table gives us a brief idea of the common examples of colloids. Separating the components of mixture. We all know that most natural substances are not pure chemically. Different methods of separations are used to get individual components from a mixture. Earlier also we have learned about filtration, evaporation, through which we are able to obtain constituent particles of our mixtures. Separation makes it possible to study and use the individual components of a mixture. By the process of separation, we can obtain the original constituents of our mixture. Homogeneous mixture can be separated into respective constituents by following methods. We have handpicking, sewing, filtration, which is one of the most common methods. Let us now discuss few examples. Further, we shall be discussing examples based on activities on how we can separate constituent particles from our mixtures. The first example discussed here is how can we obtain colored component dye from blue-black ink. Here we have performed an activity in which a beaker is half filled with water. A watch glass is put on the mouth of the beaker. Few drops of ink are dropped on a watch glass, after which the beaker is heated from beneath. We do not want the ink to be heated directly, as a result of which we have put few drops of ink on the watch glass placed on the mouth of the beaker. As the beaker is constantly heated, evaporation can be observed taking place from the watch glass. Continue heating as evaporation goes on and stop heating when we do not see any further change in watch glass. What do we observe? Here can be seen an apparatus in which a beaker is kept above a burner, and on top of which we have a watch glass which contains a few drops of ink. We find that ink is a mixture of a dye in water. Thus, with the process of evaporation, we can separate the volatile component from the non-volatile solute. Evaporation happens to be the most common procedure to separate the volatile component from a non-volatile component. Let us move forward and discuss how can we separate cream from milk. This is the most common example and is observed in most of the households. Nowadays we get different varieties of milk. We have full cream, toned and double toned varieties. How do we separate cream from all these types of milks? Let us perform an activity. Take some full cream milk in a test tube. Centrifuge it by using a centrifuging machine for 2 minutes. This activity is often observed in our households. When we want to separate cream out of milk, milk churners are mostly used. The process behind is centrifugation. What do we observe on churning the milk? And how the separation of cream from milk takes place? Well, as we discussed, the process is known as centrifugation. Let us now discuss it further. Sometimes the solid particles in the liquid are very small and pass through a filter paper. In such cases, filtration cannot be used as a method of separation. Such mixtures are separated by centrifugation. The principle is that denser particles are forced to the bottom and lighter particles stay at the top when spun rapidly. The centrifugation is carried out in the following way. Milk in a test tube is kept in a centrifuging device and the device is spun very rapidly, as a result of which the lighter particles, that is, the cream, floats on top of the milk, as a result of which milk is obtained at the bottom and cream is obtained above it. Therefore, cream and milk can be easily separated. A similar process is performed in our households when we rapidly churn the milk churner. Let us now discuss its various applications. Used in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine tests. Used in dairies and homes to separate butter from cream, like we discussed. Used in washing machine to squeeze out water from the clothes. Well, a similar process takes place in case of washing machine. The denser particles, that is, our clothes, come to the center, whereas the water particles move outwards, as a result of which water is squeezed out from our wet clothes. Let us now discuss how can we separate a mixture of two immiscible liquids. Let us carry out an activity. Let us try to separate kerosene oil from water using a separating funnel. Here we have drawn a separating funnel. Pour the mixture of kerosene oil and water in the separating funnel. Let it stand undisturbed for some time so that separate layers of oil and water are formed. After these separate layers are formed, open the stopcock and pour out the lower layer of water. Close the stopcock of separating funnel as the oil reaches the end of the stopcock. The principle behind this activity is that immiscible liquids separate out in layers depending upon their densities. In our next lecture, we shall be discussing various applications of this, and we shall be further discussing other methods of separations. In our today's video, we learned about various examples of colloids and we discussed various examples of separation, the most important being the centrifugation. That is it for today's video. If you like our video, then please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.